Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make a strawberry sherbet, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it is this beautiful rose color, and it has a rich strawberry flavor and a smooth and creamy texture. Now, the first thing you need to do is to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 150 degrees Celsius. And then you will need a baking pan. And then you can either, what I'm going to do is just lightly oil my pan with just a flavorless oil, or you could just spray it with one of those non-stick sprays. And you may wonder, why am I doing that when we're making like an ice cream? And the reason is I like to roast or bake the strawberries first. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, it really brings out the strawberries flavor, and especially if you're using like maybe strawberries that aren't like really have a lot of flavor, it does help to roast them. And the second reason is it really brings out that red color of the strawberry, which is good because, you know, if you look at this sherbet, it is a beautiful rose color. And a lot of times people end up adding like a little bit of pink food coloring to get that color, which I prefer not to do. So a couple reasons why I do this. So what you will need is 1 pound, which is 450 grams of fresh strawberries. And you obviously want to wash and dry them and get rid of any ones that are soft or mushy. And then, of course, we want to cut off the ends. And then, you know, depending if the strawberry like this, I just cut it in half and just put it in a bowl. You want to have them all about the same size so they cook, you know, the same length of time. So if you have large ones, you might have to cut them in quarters. So then once you have them in the bowl, what I like to do is add 2 tablespoons, about 40 grams of, now you could use a light corn syrup. I'm actually using agave. You could use golden syrup, or you could even use a mild flavored honey. And of course, it does sweeten the strawberries as they bake, but what it also does is keeps the strawberries from drying out. So just toss them. So, and just put them on your baking pan. And then we're going to bake them, I find, between 40 and 50 minutes. Now, that's kind of just as a guide, because it would depend, you know, if your strawberries are really soft, of course they'd be baked faster than if you have more firm strawberries, how large you cut them or small you cut them. But what you want, so what you're looking for is the strawberries will get soft. They'll start to release their juices. And what you want to do after about 20 minutes is kind of just take and toss your strawberries around a bit, and then do that about every 5-10 minutes after that, so then you can kind of check them along the way. But I find about this size in my oven takes about 40 minutes. Okay, so there's our roasted strawberries. Don't they look wonderful? So, of course, they're a little hot. So put your pan on a wire rack, and I'm just going to let those cool down. And then when we come back, we will make our strawberry sherbet. So now we're going to make our strawberry sherbet. I'm using my food processor. And the first thing I want to do is put all the strawberries along with whatever juice you have in there. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you could use a blender. You could use an immersion blender. Or really, if you don't have any of those, you could just kind of mash the strawberries in a large bowl, like maybe with a fork or a potato masher, something like that. So there is options. And then, along with the strawberries, we have to sweeten the strawberries. You know, with fruit, it's really hard to tell. Sometimes it's really sweet, sometimes it's on the sour side. I would start with about I would say a third of a cup, 65 grams. If you did taste your strawberries before and they were really sweet, you could cut that back. And then I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice. I find a citrus really brings out the flavors. If you didn't want to use lemon juice, you could use lime juice. You could probably even use orange juice. And then I'm going to add a little limoncello. I like that, a little bit of liqueur there. You could add Grand Marnier, I think would be nice. Or you can just leave it out if you want. And then I'm going to add some heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. That's cream with a 35 to 40% butterfat content. I'm using 3/4 of a cup, which is 180 grams. What's great about this, there's no eggs. It's not like a custard-based ice cream, because actually, if you didn't even want to churn this in your ice cream machine and freeze it, you could just have it like a strawberry soup. And then I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup, which is 60 grams. Now you could use sour cream, you could use a yogurt, you could use creme fraiche. There's a few choices there. And that's it. And what I'm just going to do is just blend it. Now, how much you blend it or process it is, do you want the strawberries? If you want like kind of a little chunky strawberries, you don't blend it as much. I like mine pretty smooth, but they're still little, so I'm just going to go with it. So you could see, you really could just do this by hand and just mash your strawberries with a fork and just mix it and then whisk everything together. And that is really it. So then I just put it in a bowl. And I want to chill it before I put it in my ice cream machine. Normally what I do is I make this, like say the day before, the night before, and I just leave it in the fridge overnight, and then it gets really cold. You could just leave it maybe 6 hours or so. You just want it like chilled. So that is it. So I'm just going to cover this, chill it, and when we come back, we will use our ice cream machine, get it nice and cold. So now we're ready to churn our sherbet. So it's chilled. And now first, there's all different types of ice cream machines. Mine, there's this base, and I have to put this in the freezer until it's really cold. There's all different types. So make sure to read your manufacturer's instructions. So with mine, I just pour my chilled sherbet into my really cold base here. And then I just put this in here. And then I churn it. Usually, again, manufacturer's instructions. Mine is about 25 minutes. Just keeps until it's like really frozen. So what if you don't have, I'll just turn that off while I'm talking. What if you don't have an ice cream machine? Well, what you can do, it's called a still freeze. So what you need is preferably a metal, kind of pretty shallow metal container. Put your cold sherbet in there, and then put it into the freezer for probably close to an hour. You want it to start freezing around the outside edges. Once you see that and the ice crystals starting to form, take it out of the freezer. Give it a really good stir. You want to mix it up, kind of break up those ice crystals, and then get some air into your sherbet, and then put it back into the freezer and keep doing that. Like maybe every half hour, you take it out, give it a good stir, and put it back in until it's frozen. That can take 2, 3 hours, until it's to the consistency you want. So that's your other choice. So what I'm going to do is just let this churn away, and when we come back, I will show you our finished strawberry sherbet. Okay, so our sherbet is now done. I can always tell it's done because, like I said, my container was frozen, and then once it warms up, that's about as cold as it's going to get. You know, it all depends on your ice cream machine. Sometimes if you find it doesn't get cold enough, what you may have to do is at the end transfer it to a covered container and put it in the freezer to get a little more cold before you serve it. Although typically in my house, it can never get to the freezer. It is eaten right away. And so this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to take a bit. And so how do you serve it? Of course, an ice cream cone is very good. Or what I have here is I've just taken some fresh strawberries. I put a little sugar on them, and then I put it on there. I think that looks pretty good. And then, if you want to even kind of put even more strawberry flavor, I just pureed some strawberries with a little sugar to make a strawberry sauce. Over top, kind of like a little sundae. So let's give it a try. Pretty good. Yep, very nice. As you can see, that color, you know, roasting those strawberries, the color of the sherbet is so pretty, that rose color. And then, of course, the strawberry flavor is intense. And then because we use the cream and the sour cream, it's so smooth and creamy. I mean, it's really great. Now, like I said, you could serve it right away. Leftovers, you can put it in a covered container, put it into the freezer. It lasts several, you know, probably a week in the freezer. But you will find after a day or two, it will get really, really hard. So what you want to do before serving, maybe a half hour before serving, is transfer it to the fridge, and then it softens it up. So try it. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.